My week with my sons, Lucas and Liam, began Friday at 3 p.m. at school pickup. We had been on the Friday to Friday parenting schedule for about 3 months. The boys were getting used to it, so it seemed. We were all getting used to this new version of our family. 2 houses, each parent stationed in their respective home, the children coming and going like live-in guests. That was one thing I wasn't prepared for post-divorce, the empty nest feeling when the kids are at the other home. That and the exciting and terrifying gift of all that alone time. I had no one to cook or clean for, no one to take to the park, no one to watch movies with. So I tried to enjoy the new version of myself, a midlife divorcee with long hair, a mustache, younger friends that did parkour, a reawakened love of pot, and a charming smile disguising loads of heartache. Then, Friday at 3 p.m., I would step back into the role of full-time father. That Friday, just a couple of weeks into 2025, our little New Year's celebration now behind us, the boys were happy to see me, although Lucas, my 11-year-old, needed a hug. He was tired. In fact, his 6th grade teachers had said he seemed lethargic that week. I told Lucas and my 9-year-old son Liam that after school we needed to run to Staples. Although Lucas wanted to go straight home, I made it quick, and when we left the store, he asked me to pull over. His stomach was turning, again. By then, it was a pattern, and I was fairly certain it had nothing to do with the COVID and strep he'd had over Christmas. The vomiting shouldn't go on this long. I had the weekend plotted out. Saturday morning, IHOP breakfast, then over to the river park for kickball and football. Then Sunday, my usual parkour practice. Anything to keep them off their screens. As a father of sons, I felt it was my duty to keep them sporty, even though I was just as much of an indoor cat when I was their age. At breakfast Saturday morning, I was recording a video for Grandma, prompting them to thank her for the Christmas money. That's when I noticed Lucas's right eye. It wasn't tracking with the left. It appeared to be going crossed. Lazy eye, I thought. He might need a patch. After breakfast, I dropped them off at home and ran out to find one. I didn't know it right then because I was in dad mode, trying to troubleshoot the situation. But something was wrong, and I sensed that it was nothing I could fix. I called LensCrafters and made an appointment for Monday afternoon. At the end of our Saturday in the park, Lucas had to throw up again. That night, after I put them to bed, I kissed the boys goodnight and laid my hands on Lucas's head. I felt the back of it where I noticed he'd been touching sometimes when he was fatigued. I looked up at the small retablo of Our Lady of Guadalupe I kept above their doorway, my patron saint for my children, and I prayed. My intuition was telling me that something was about to be revealed. Sunday, my fun day. Parkour practice at Tecolote Shores on Mission Bay. While most men my age are working on their golf swing, I chose one of the most dangerous activities one could do. I would go for the risky behavior and stay for the philosophy and fellowship under the sun, which is how Daniel, mi maestro, ran most of his sessions. I had been going to his classes for about a year, and they were the salve for my aching personal life, namely my marriage on the rocks. My sons were used to going to the park on their Sundays with me, albeit begrudgingly. I joked that instead of taking them to their weekly sport, they would take me to mine. I usually bribed them with lunch that they could eat while I traced, shoulder rolled, and swung from bars. But before all that, I knew that Lucas needed to be seen sooner by a professional. I rescheduled the LensCrafters appointment to 1:30 that afternoon. At parkour practice, Daniel brought his gym-grade trampoline and set it up next to the sand pit. This meant flips. Anxious excitement hit my gut every time I saw the trampoline. We had worked on flips a few times before, and I'd almost landed one with a spot from Daniel. I may not have been entirely sure about wanting to flip at all, nor how to do it properly, despite Daniel providing both detailed instructions and careful reassurance each time. But I always tried, even if I landed terribly, which was definitely every time. That's what parkour is, facing something scary and dangerous, yet executing it with graceful, even playful agility. For the warm-up, we approached the trampoline from various distances and speeds and took small jumps into the sand to get our steps right. This part was all about building confidence before moving into the flips. In between these runs, I glanced over to check on the boys. Lucas was sitting there, head down, resting. Liam was standing around, hoping to play, but was more in vigil with his brother. I stepped away from practice to talk to them. "It's almost 1, Liam said. He had been checking the time on my phone. "Are you okay, buddy?" I asked Lucas. "Just tired," he said. Is it time to go?" My time to flip came. I had thus far made 1 or 2 attempts that landed me flat on my ass. Daniel was talking me through it, encouraging me, reminding me that I had it in me. Lucas had sidled up to me to remind me of the time. He was so in need of attention, and I was so focused on that moment, so present with what I was about to do with my body. "I'm almost done, pal. Then we'll leave," I assured him. I ran toward the trampoline. My steps, my speed were just what I had calibrated for my body during warm-ups. I leapt onto the trampoline, my feet pushed the webbing downward, and I fixed my eyes toward the horizon. Arms to the sky, I pulled my hips upward, sending my bottom half into the air, then tucked my torso, my head following my flipping body. Oh my God, I was doing it! Just then, my feet landed in the sand and I stood upright. I had stuck the fucking landing. I was ecstatic. I had done it right for the first time. Claps and hugs went around, but the celebration was brief. It was time to leave. Shuffling the boys to the car, I was giddy with excitement. Did they see me? Did they watch me? They did. That was my thing, not theirs. Their minds were elsewhere. We had somewhere to be. As we entered the highway, the buzz of my first well-executed front flip wore off and was replaced with the looming sense of burden, the weight of having kids in my charge and how we had to hurry away from my fun time and onto a doctor's appointment, as though their presence was cramping my style. I hated myself for feeling that way, stuck between the permanence of parenthood and that taste of adult freedom. I carried it with me from the empty parking lot of the defunct Macy's home store into the big and tall men's shop and into the Lens Crafters, along with my shoes full of sand. Lens Crafters. Santa Maria Madre de Dios Lens Crafters. That little hidden doctor in the decaying Mission Valley Mall. Of all the places we could be, of all the things we could be doing on a Sunday afternoon, we were now in the place where the course of our lives would flip. We checked in for the appointment, and soon after, I went out the side door to dump the sand from my shoes. It was irritating me. The whole thing was irritating me. I was still stuck in parental guilt, and my intuition was picking at me again. It felt as though all the fun was about to end. After the medical assistant captured a series of images of Lucas's eyes, we went to the exam room to meet the doctor, Lahika Suljuki, doctor of optometry, whom I will be indebted to forever. I explained to her what appeared to be a lazy eye, along with the vomiting, and that he was starting to report headaches. She listened, acknowledged, all while looking at the images of my son's eyes on the screen before her. "I see what's going on here," she nodded, turning to me and said, "Sir, I need to speak to you in the other room." The boys shot me a look. I felt it too, that dip in the stomach, the webbing of the trampoline going downward, the fear gathering inside me. Dr. Suljuki spoke to me in plain language. "I'm seeing significant swelling on both optic nerves. The cause could be an autoimmune disorder or an infection, or a mass. This is an emergency," she continued. "You should go immediately to the ER and request an MRI." That earlier funk I was in, that selfish disrespect aimed at my children, gone. My hips were now skyward. My body was heading into upside-down flight. We had to act fast. My son's life was in danger. Back out at the parking lot, I sat the boys down on the red bricks of a low retaining wall in front of the dead Macy's. I took a knee and summoned all that I had as a father to now shift us toward a new reality. Like Daniel breaking down the mechanics of a flip for me just an hour before, I was, in genuflection, preparing my sons for their own turn. "Boys," I said, "the optometrist saw something on Lucas's images that needs immediate attention. We have to go to the emergency room now." Lucas's face twisted up in fear. "Do I have to have surgery?" he said. "I don't know. We don't know anything yet. We need to go now." Inside the car, I woke my phone and dialed co-parent. In those early days of our split, I suppose I was trying to reduce the boy's mother to only a title as an immature means to move on, ignoring that I was grieving the end of an almost 2-decade marriage, a process that would soon flip toward our son's impending diagnosis. She answered, and I shared the optometrist's instructions. I quickly stepped out of the car to tell her what those possibilities could be, and she said she would be right there. Later that night, long after Lucas had triaged through the Rady Children's ER, long after I left the hospital and went back home to put Liam to bed, I spent the rest of the night pacing, waiting for her call. It was after 11 p.m. when she called. They had the results of the MRI. "It's not good," she wept. "They found a brain tumor." Our already bruised little world flipped once more, this time in a way so devastating that we might not stop turning. We experienced a change in forward velocity so profound that we would continue to flip again and again, sometimes together as a family, other times individually, whether we wanted to or not. If practicing parkour has taught me anything, it's that crazy, scary shit can be done. Facing danger head-on is a form of mental and physical response training. That day, I needed it more than ever, and I would continue to tap into it over the next 12 months as Lucas battled brain cancer and beat it. He flipped and twisted and fought it with all he had, and he fucking beat it, thank God. And I would need that mental and physical agility again when little bro Liam, on the heels of Lucas's recovery, wouldn't get out of bed one day, nor the next, nor the next. The weight of our entire year had flipped him on his 10-year-old head, and he needed mental health treatment. Months of intense counseling brought him back to his feet. He began to stick his landings. Thank you, Holy Mary, Mother of God. And for me, I keep going back to that deliciously risky movement medicine to remind myself that I am alive and strong and able to do scary shit. And it's not so much what I do at practice that actually matters. It's more about what I carry with me afterward and into my daily life. It's about my willingness to flip as the situation demands. That's what fatherhood is. Continual adaptation to what life hurls at us. And it's not a role that starts at 3 p.m. on a Friday. Dad life is every day of the week, and it is my honor and privilege to be that man for my sons. Thank you.